Welcome to the next project. This is episode 2 of our Fender MusicMaster short scale bass guitar resurrection mod project. Well, we have found a lot of sin along the way and been working hard to correct things, make it all nice and I don't want to say new, but very playable, maybe better than new actually. Where are we going to end with this? Well, let's take a look at what it's taken to get from there to here as we start the next project. It's a beautiful day. Birds were chirping just a moment ago, but they stopped so I could record. That was nice of them. We are jumping back onto this Fender MusicMaster Bass guitar project. It's kind of a Frankenstein collection of parts. We got the neck going in the right direction now. Now we need to take a look at the body. I think I mentioned in the previous video that I believe this was a 6-string guitar body, not a bass body. Has the shorter depth neck pocket, even though this had the bass neck screwed into it in a plethora of holes in the back of the heel of the neck. It looks like it was set up for maybe 2 single coil-ish pickups at one time. It looks like there was originally a 6-string bridge mounted here, and when somebody stuck the bass neck on it, they moved a location for the bass bridge back here. But the reality is this pocket should be routed to about that deep for the bass neck, and the bridge should actually come back here. So what am I going to do? I got a lot of holes to fill. I thought about just plugging them and rerouting, and I was like, you know what, I just want to do it as simple and clean as possible. Fortunately, those two are, I think, walking hand in hand. So I'm going to route a center chunk right out of this, about almost 3/4 of an inch deep, and put in a new piece center strip of wood, then recontour it to the shape of the body. I will then be able to use the existing mounting holes, which actually do line up with the original mounting holes in the neck, just in a different position. I'll be able to screw the neck onto this, get it aligned, clamp it down, and determine my center line for the neck and the body, and route a new neck pocket. And then we can move forward from there, figuring out exactly what bridge we're going to put on this, where it needs to go, and rerouting for the humbucker pickup, which the owner wants to keep that humbucker in here. He said he likes the way it sounds with the push-pull and everything. So that's cool. So that's the plan at the moment, but we're just getting started. You know how it goes. Plans change. So let's get the next project rolling. After many shallow passes routing away, we are down to the depth that we need to be at. And sweeping the debris away, we're going to take a look and test fit our new center section. It's a 3/4 inch thick, 4 3/4 inch wide roughly chunk of poplar, which matches the body wood. Fits in there really nice and snug. Still have room for glue though. So we're going to get ready to do that right now. We just finished routing the channel in the body to receive a new center slab of wood. As I was routing, I was hoping this would be poplar, and it is poplar. The piece that I bought to go in here is also poplar, so at least they're the same species. A few years apart, but you know, we can only do so much. So we've got this routed to about 3/4 of an inch deep within a hair. The new piece that's going in is 3/4 of an inch. Took about 1/8 of an inch passes each time I was routing and going deeper. So that's about 3 millimeters each pass to go deeper. So quite a few passes, but that's okay. We just needed to get to our final dimension. Now I know I could have used a Forstner bit and routed all of that out. Would have taken me about the same amount of time probably in the end. I just wanted to do it all with the router because that's the way I am. I've used the Forstner bit before, not today. So it's time to glue this in, and while the glue is drying, we're going to jump back and work on the neck as we continue the next project. What's the old saying? You can never have too many clamps? Well, that may be true. I don't know. I try to use as few clamps as I can to get even clamping pressure everywhere. Sometimes I use too many probably, but in this case I used
4 with the length of the new insert, and then 2 across the piece. Those 2 across are to help push down in the middle of the long cauls that are pressing down on the new piece of lumber. So hopefully we have pretty even clamping pressure all the way along. We don't want to have kind of a bow to that insert piece we pushed in, trapping a bunch of glue underneath it in the middle. I think we did all right. We ended up having some glue push out of the screw holes where the neck pocket is. Overall, it fit in there really, really well. I'm pretty happy with it right now. Boy, we're going to have to cut some holes in that soon, though. Fun. While the glue was drying, I actually grabbed the neck and started prepping my fret wire. This is Jescar stainless steel wire, using some StewMac fret cutters there. And I cut all my fret wire probably about a 1/4 inch or a little more wider than the neck. Then I switched over and used some StewMac fret tang nippers. Since this is stainless steel, I didn't want to use my cheapy Amazon converted pair. They're a little bit hard on the hand when you do a whole bunch of stainless wire. They do work though. I'm using these StewMac units that cut pretty well, and honestly I think this is the 4th stainless, 5th stainless, 6th stainless. I don't know how many stainless necks I've used these on now. They are starting to show some wear. So are they perfect? Well, they're not bad. Are they perfect? Well, they're not bad. I'll eventually wear them out, and hopefully StewMac will honor a replacement of them eventually. Using a small triangle file, just giving the fret slots just a little bit of bevel. That's just to help the frets press in a little easier. Doing a quick prep of the neck and put some protective tape on the sides. I don't want super glue oozing out the side of the fret slots and sticking on the side of the neck. So I have the tape on there, and then I put a little bit of beeswax along the side of each fret slot, and the camera is focusing about 6 feet away from where I'm working. Okay, I don't know about that. I need to fire the cameraman. Oh, wait a minute. I'm the cameraman. Yeah. I'll be looking for a new job soon in case anybody knows of anything. Using a standard fret call in my fret press right now. I will be testing out a new tool to me here shortly. You can see the medium viscosity super glue squeezing out of the fret slots there as I press the frets in. That's encouraging, lets me know that the frets are going in and pushing the glue out just a little bit. The medium viscosity is nice. It doesn't splash out and squirt out all over. It just kind of oozes out. And this is the new tool to me. This is something I purchased a couple of months ago and has been sitting in a box lost on a shelf for a while. And to be fair, this is not the J. Edwards fractal press. This is a clone of his press, and I would love to have the original thing, but honestly, it's very expensive. And I'm a little bit cheap. Well, a lot cheap, actually. I make a lot of my own tools. And I've actually been looking at making one of these myself, but this was so cheap I couldn't pass it up. Now, I had seen more recently a video by Highland Guitars. Chris over there had picked up one of these and done a review on it, and he was having a terrible time. He mangled a fret, and I was like, oh dear, that's what I have to look forward to. Well, I tried it, and it is a little sloppy in its manufacturing, but it actually worked pretty well, and I have since corrected the issues that this affordable tool had, but we'll talk about that another time. But anyway, the frets are in. Woohoo! There's always post-press work, isn't there? Cleaning up, wiping off the excess wax that I put on to keep the squeeze out of the super glue from staining or discoloring the fingerboard. And I'm using a flat tip, sharp little X-Acto knife blade to go along and scrape loose any other squeeze out that had come out of the slots and hardened. Just curls off pretty nice. So this is an easy process. I also had gone through and checked all of my frets to make sure they're completely seated, which honestly at this point it would be a little bit late. It would be a bit of a problem, but while I was pressing them in, I was checking them also. And this is a 1.5 thousandths of an inch feeler gauge. It's the thinnest one I had. And I run it along the edge of each fret just to make sure the feeler gauge doesn't drop in underneath the fret anywhere. These all worked really well. And nipping back the ends of all the frets, putting my hand over to keep the little sharp barbs from flying into my face, and using a homemade fret end beveling file. I used a 10, 20, and a 30-degree angle, slowly knocking these back. I know some people use like a belt sander kind of thing, and I think that would be great. I was not in a hurry. I wanted to make sure I didn't sand the fingerboard off of this old neck, so I don't mind taking a couple extra minutes on this one. And I'm not a production shop, so this is my workout for the day actually too. Ugh. Whew. Okay, now just give them all the frets just a gentle little round over. This is not finish work at all. This is just to keep me from getting scraped by sharp stainless frets. I don't like bleeding, but there's plenty of it that happens with each project, it seems like. Back to the body work. We have got the body at the router table-ish kind of thing. We're just squaring up the edges of that insert piece that we put in, trimming it right to the shape of the existing body. Now we're ready for some heavy sanding. Woohoo!
We are sanding the heck out of this. We've got the body thickness down to 1.48 inches thick. We do have our new poplar centerpiece glued in, as we saw in the last video. This is a poplar body. You can probably see how green and streaky it is. That's okay. It's a two-piece body. It has the factory telltale holes in it that were plugged, whether they used it for templates or, for routing at the factory or hanging it, or I don't know what they did. I don't really care. I am going to take another 20 thousandths off and then glue a veneer on the face of this to hopefully eliminate any chance of witness lines showing up anytime in the future. If there's any expansion or shrinking of the wood over the years due to humidity, sometimes glue joint lines kind of show up. They aren't necessarily a crack or anything, but different pieces of wood swell and contract at different rates, so you would see a line. We probably all looked at guitars and seen lines in the body, most likely where glue joints are. So I'm going to run back to the sander and knock a little bit more off, and then we'll be ready for a chunk of veneer on the top as we continue the next project.
Oh boy, who doesn't enjoy sanding, right? Right, yeah man, I like it, especially when the machine does all the work and I just basically have to stand there and watch. That made it pretty easy. Here we're trimming out a piece of rotary cut maple veneer, and this is going to be used just to put over the face of the body, just to hopefully ensure that we don't have, witness lines come through later. I'm using urea formaldehyde glue. You don't want to breathe this stuff. Put a mask on when you pour the powder out and when you start your stirring. Once it turns into a paste, you're fine. You wouldn't want to eat it, but it's safe to spread around and do this. I'm rolling a little bit of it on the glue side of the veneer and the rest of it on the body itself. It looks like I have a lot there, but honestly, it's soaked right into this poplar pretty quick. Dropping the veneer in place, and I'll be adding tape all the way around, well, not all the way around the edges in some select locations. That's just to help keep the veneer from wanting to curl up as I fumble around and get the clamping system in place. And the clamping again, maybe too many clamps or not enough clamps or whatever. I hopefully hit somewhere in the middle, making sure I get enough clamps. I am using a body-shaped template that's 1/2 inch thick piece of MDF on top of the veneer. I have a 3/4 inch chunk of MDF underneath the body. I have 1.5 square oak cauls. There are 3 of them strapped across the top of the template shaped body. And now we have roughly a 1.5-inch square chunk of extruded aluminum that runs the length, nut to butt of the body to clamp the cauls all down in the right direction. Off come all the clamps, and a little bit of moment of truth here. Actually, this wasn't too bad. What, I have 8 clamps there? That's not bad. And I got really good pressure all the way around. Fortunately, using that chunk of MDF template on top gives me a nice flat surface that I'm pressing down against the veneer. So there are no bumps, no ripples, no bubbles, no nothing. Went on really nice. Using a sharp single-edged razor blade to trim away some of the excess veneer from the edge of the body. That's just so when I do get to routing the shape back in, I'm not catching big chunks of loose veneer with a router bit. Here we're scraping away some of that Battleship gray, what is this, implement paint? I think it was an enamel that was probably just brushed on. It is thick, kind of gooey, and I don't know how long it's been on there, probably years, but it's a little gooey. Kind of nasty. So we're going to get it out of the way so we can move on and do some nice rough shaping of the body here. Got to take just a few more minutes to enjoy this part of the process. Oh yeah, and there's a little bit of sanding too. This is just to help smooth out the area where the router bit to do the round over, easing the edges is going to ride. So I want it to have a nice surface to ride along, so I'll transfer a nice finish to the edge. My router table is again clamped to the bench, and a 5/8" roundover bit stuck in the router. Going around the edges, both the front and the back, or the top and the bottom, top and the back, front and the back, and on both sides of the body. Reintroducing that roundover, and it's actually looking pretty good. And this did take away what was left of the factory urethane sealer or whatever they had on it. Oh yeah, that's a big thumbs up there. Want to make sure I don't route into where the neck pocket's going to be on the front or the back. You don't want to round over where that neck plate's going to go on the back, so had to stay away from that. Doing a quick scalpel cutout of the control cavity. And this is a pretty small control cavity, kind of Telecaster size almost, but it's not straight like a Telecaster. Dropping in a palm router with a straight bit as bearing on the bottom down in the cavity that rides along the wall of the opening. And the bit just trims away the veneer nice and clean. I did go around this quickly with a piece of sandpaper just to freshen it up a bit. I went ahead and poked the neck mounting holes on through the body and the veneer, and dropping in the old neck on the body, just running some temporary screws into it just to figure out my alignment, make sure everything's going to fit where I'm hoping it will need to go. Taking 2 yardsticks or 2 meter sticks and taping them up by the nut and holding them tight to the length of the neck. Taking a ruler and finding my center point. Transfer lines with the back of the heel and also the projection lines from the neck back on the body. This way I'll be able to figure out where the bridge needs to go, and I'll have a center line based on this also. I need tuners and I need a bridge before I can really go any further with this project. So I'm in contact with the owner and he is ordering some parts, but we're about ready for the next step. I really do need to know what bridge I'm putting on it before I can route the neck pocket into the body though, because I don't know how deep I need to go yet. Exciting times. Well, it looks like we have run out of tape and we're going to have to call it a day. I want to thank everybody for hanging with me through this episode. It's starting to come together, I think. Yep. We are in need of bridge and tuners, but those are on the way, so we should be able to get back to this pretty soon. If you haven't done so already, Please subscribe to the channel. I'd greatly appreciate that. Ring the bell for future notifications. Give the video a thumbs up so YouTube knows you like this kind of stuff. Until next time, take care of yourself and those around you. Bye.